Good morning. Welcome to JP's Morning Brief. This is James Pierce, and I hope everyone's having a good morning. It was a long night. A lot of this, well, it doesn't surprise me what happens in politics anymore. Dude, Virginia. Man. Well, hey, welcome to the Morning Brief. Let's get started on this really quick. I got to go. I got a hard out at 7 because I got to get ready to go to the VA in just, I got a 9 o'clock appointment, 45-minute to an hour drive. So eastbound and down, right? All right. So if you're not already a follower, please click that follow button. Click the follow button, and then please click that like button. That's that thumbs up one without the pencil. And then chat. Got one chatter already in there. Covite for life. That's my buddy Richard. But yeah. So welcome to the program this morning. Bear with me. I know I'm not going to get through all this. I already got most of the podcast written up for noon, so I'll be good for noon central with the JPA report. I just got ins and outs. I got to tailor up and stuff. So let's get going. All right. So welcome to the program. America 250. General Charles Lee advised recruiters. That's pretty cool. But General Charles Lee advised recruiters to be cautious of British and Irish natives to ensure loyalty. Because I guess they didn't want no fratricide going on. But yeah, pretty cool. All right. So next, yesterday I started reading Thoughts on Government from John Adams. We're going to continue on with a little bit more for this morning. Right. Um, part two. All right. So a representative of the people in one assembly being obtained. So if you want to hear more about this, go back to the JPA report and just follow me through the America 250 for the next few days, okay? A representative of the people in one assembly being obtained, a question arises whether all the powers of government, legislative, executive, and judicial shall be left in this body. I think a people cannot be long free nor ever happy whose government is in one assembly. My reason for this, for my opinion, are as follows. One, a single assembly is liable for all vices, follies, and frailties of an individual, subject to fits of humor, start of passion, flights of enthusiasm, partialities of prejudice, and consequently productive of hasty results of absurd judgments. And all these errors ought to be corrected and defects supplied by some controlling power. Two, a single assembly is apt to be avaricious and in time will not scruple to exempt itself from burdens which it will lay without compunction or its constituents. Three, a single assembly is apt to grow ambitious and after a time will not hesitate to vote itself perpetual. All this sounds very familiar. This is one fault of all the long parliament, but more remarkably of Holland, whose assembly first voted themselves from annual to septennial, then for life, and after a course of years, all vacancies happening by death or otherwise should be filled by themselves without any application of constituents at all. 4. A representative assembly, although extremely well qualified and absolutely necessary as a branch of the legislature, is unfit to exercise the executive power for want of two essential properties, secrecy and dispatch. 5. A representative assembly is still less qualified for the judicial power because it is too numerous, too slow, and too little skilled in the laws. And then 6, because a single assembly possessed of all the powers of government would make arbitrary laws for their own interests. Man, it still sounds very familiar. Execute all laws arbitrarily for their own interests and adjudge all controversies in their own favor. Dude, this is so very familiar. I don't know where we're experiencing that these days, but I'm pretty sure it is happening here and now, right? So, great insight. All right. So, we'll talk more about that this afternoon, okay? Thank y'all for tuning in. If you was just listening to that, that's from John Adams, Thoughts on Government. It's an essay he wrote in April 1776. It's 7 pages long, and we're 2.5 pages into it. It's really good. And as you just heard, a lot of that brings back memories of what's going on in our own country right now. In particular, a certain political party and what they want to do to us. All right. So let's go. Next is my new sponsor, the Armament Shop. Okay, whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copperas Cove's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need a CHL class? We offer that too. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115 West Avenue D in Copperas Cove, or call Jason at 254-560-2023. All right. Awesome people. Man, I do not mind doing that for Jay. He's a really great guy. He's getting married this weekend to a really good friend of mine. So visit them, and he works in the entire Metro Killeen area. He says he does stuff all the way past Waco, and so he's the FFL, so he just doesn't do private sales. Okay, so visit the Armament Shop. Iran update. We're still in Operation Epic Fury. The day is the final scheduled day of the ceasefire. Trump says the ceasefire will be extended, will only be for a short time. Evidently, there's a power struggle in Iran. The IRGC looks like they're orchestrating a soft coup where they're trying to consolidate power, like within what's it called, junta, because they're like pushing out the president and prime minister of Iran and consolidate power on themselves. Trump says that Iran is financially collapsing by losing $500 million a day. The IRGC's fired on 2 or maybe 3 container ships in the last 24 hours. The oil reservoirs are almost full inside of Iran, so that means the pumping stations will be next to close. And the ramifications, if you don't know much about the oil business, is when you turn an oil pump off, you've pretty much got to re-drill that well, all right, which costs millions of dollars to do. CENTCOM's U.S. forces are rearmed, retooled, and ready to fight. That's from CENTCOM Admiral Cooper. Iran vows to break the U.S. blockade, and the Pakistan Prime Minister thanked Trump for supporting the extension of the ceasefire. All right. Brent crude oil right now is trading at $99.88 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate is trading at $90.80 a barrel. And the stock market closed yesterday at 49,149.38. It was down 293.18. Okay. Um, so oil is still inching back up. Hopefully, there's a remedy to the whole situation here. But it takes two to tango. So the president maybe's like, come on, just deal with this. And the other person's got to vote in the fight. So we got to diplomatically work the situation. And if diplomacy don't work, we know what's next. Okay. All right. So shall we talk about Iran or shall we talk about Virginia? Let's talk about Iran real quick. All right. So I printed this off this morning. President Trump extended his ceasefire with Iran Tuesday afternoon after an American negotiating team led by the VP delayed plans to travel to Pakistan for a second round of peace talks. Okay, Kovite for Life says the only thing they didn't say was the religious leader. LOL. Good point. Before we get back to this, is Khomeini alive or is he dead? If he's alive, then the IRGC wants to really get rid of him. All they have to do is save face. They can blame us for it, right? The IRGC just has to relay us a 6 or 8 digit grid to American forces, and we can take care of the rest. We'll drop an MEP on that location, all over with. And then the IRGC will be the ones in charge, okay? And Khomeini could be like his dad, look for 72 versions, which we know he'll never find, okay? So let's get back to this. Thanks a lot for letting me do that this morning, man. President Trump extended the ceasefire with Iran Tuesday afternoon after American negotiating team led by the vice president delayed plans to travel to Pakistan for a second round of peace talks. Okay, quote from Trump. Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold off our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all other respects remain steady and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. All right? So that's the situation with Iran. We just went through that. There was this one deal in Iran updates I was reading. It said that Iran had fired upon a cargo ship. The ship was on fire. The ship's crew was safe. Okay, so doesn't sound like much of a ceasefire going on right now. But if the ceasefire was really gone, there'll be a whole lot more explosions in a container ship. But all power to our president and to our vice president. Let them do their job. Okay, let's get to what everybody was talking about right now. Virginia. For some strange reason, the no's came up short last night by like 1.5% or so. So on Monday, this coming Monday, the Virginia Supreme Court is going to hear a court case concerning the referendum that just went through last night. All right. My question is, one of the questions that need to be asked is, why did the legislature make the maps for the Virginia's congressional delegation with 5 congressional seats running through Fairfax County? Okay. So right before I came on the air here, Fairfax County has 1.5 million people, right? And they got 5 congressional seats going to be going through within 15 miles of Fairfax County with 1.5 million people in it, right? Uh, so before I came on the air, uh, Tarrant County, my home county, that has close to 3 million people live in Tarrant County itself, only has 5 congressional seats in it. Only. The population of Fairfax County, Virginia, is 1.15 million. So how can my home county have 5 seats in it with almost 3 million people live in it, and then Fairfax County, Virginia, has 1.15 million people in it and has 5 congressional seats going to be running through it? It does not pass muster here. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you before I get to reading a little bit here real quick is, there we go. So this is the breakdown of mail-in ballots. This is a reason why we need the Save America Act. I'll let y'all, while I'm talking, I'll let y'all look at this slide for just a minute. Mail-in ballots rule the roost in this special election. Why do you need so many mail-in ballots to go through and 6 weeks of early voting? This is what mail-in balloting will do to a race. It will destroy it. Okay? It'll destroy all legitimacy of a race. Because you're like, there'll be counting ballots. All of a sudden, the no's are winning. Yes, we're winning. Yes, we're winning. And about 7:50 last night, this is according to Kevin Corke on Fox News. He said 7:48 last night, I looked at this one chart and it showed the no's were ahead by over 100,000 votes, right? And it refreshed and it showed the yeses were winning by like 50,000. What in the world happened to where 150,000 vote turnaround in this referendum? The mail-in ballots of what happened. They were counting the early votes and they posted them. They was drenched in mail-in ballots, or you may call absentees, for the whole thing. But that is why a mail-in ballot problem needs to be dealt with, because it skews the results of the election. And like my daughter was telling me last night before she hit the rack, was that how in the world did you do you legitimize 6 weeks of early voting? They started voting on this referendum. What is it? March 6th, and election day was yesterday. 6 weeks to go vote. She said you shouldn't need more than 2 weeks of early voting. Some of us say, well, it should only be 1 week. And there are a group of people out there that said election day is election day, not election season. I think Samuel Alito, Justice Alito, said that you don't have election season, you have election day. Okay? And that's very, very true. But now they got to go through the court system, and maybe the Virginia Supreme Court will see it their way and nullify this vote that happened yesterday. There's a lot of money poured into it, and a lot of power right there is going on. So I would be doubtful if they overrode. My next question is, I'm not a lawyer, but if it does not rule the way they want, can they take that and appeal it to the U.S. Supreme Court? I don't know. My next suggestion is Republicans in Virginia, instead of sitting on your fourth point of contact, need to make a plan and execute it and try to get Democrats to vote Republican. I mean, you got to fight. You can't just sit there and cry on your Wheaties and stuff. You got to get out there and make it happen. You can't just stand on the sidelines and say, We got beat. We got really beat. I don't know what I'm going to do. No, you got to get up there, stand up like a man or a woman, and get out there and fight for those seats that you want. All right? That's the way I look. That's my view of the whole situation. So I will read the rest of this tomorrow. This afternoon, because I'm going to run out of time. I want to read what Ken Cuccinelli said. He used to be with the Department of Homeland Security, I believe it was. This is what he wrote that's going to go before the Virginia Supreme Court on Monday, the 27th, okay? He said on X last night, he said, hold on just a second. And this is a good time to remind people to hit that that like button and hit the follow button for me, please. I appreciate it. And say good morning to Covite for Life, because he's out there all by himself waiting for someone to comment on the live chat. So Ken says the yes vote has won Virginia's redistricting referendum, but the legal fight is just beginning. 4 Virginia constitutional challenges are now teed up. 3 challenges to the amendment process itself. 1. First passage was invalid. The amendment was taken up during a special session convened in 2024 for budget purposes. How was that even possible? The General Assembly's own call to the governor under Article 4, Section 6, and Article 5, Section 5, and its governing resolution, House Joint Resolution 6001, limited the session's scope, expanding it to include a constitutional amendment on redistricting required a 2/3 vote that never occurred. Oh, wow, he is absolutely correct on that one. A Tazewell County judge found this action void ab initio. I don't know what that means. This is number 2. Article 12, Section 1 requires that after first passage, a proposed amendment be referred to the General Assembly at its first regular session held after the next general election of members of the House of Delegates. That would be would that be January 2025? Okay. An election must intervene between the first and second passage. Here, first passage occurred during an election cycle, not before an intervening one. Okay, I see what he's saying on that. Number 3, Article 12, Section 1 requires the amendment to be submitted to voters not sooner than 90 days after final passage by the General Assembly. The timeline from second passage to April 21st did not satisfy that requirement because it finaled in mid-January and early voting started March 6th. I see where that goes. And then number 4, Article 2, Section 6 require that every electoral district shall be composed of continuous and compact territory. The proposed congressional maps violate the contiguity requirement rather badly. He put, quote unquote, open close parentheses. He says, next stop, court, stay tuned. He wrote that at 9:30 last night, okay? So that is what's going to happen in Virginia, right? Starting next week. Just a quick thing on a good news for Texas. Let me put this here so I don't forget. In Texas, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 9-8 that in the state of Texas, it could be required that in every classroom in the state of Texas, the 10 Commandments can be posted in every classroom in the state of Texas by a vote of 9-8. So every one of these school districts that challenge Ken Paxton and Governor Abbott, now I got to post this because I don't think they have the money to appeal this to the United States Supreme Court. So this should be done, right? It's about time. This was passed 2 years ago, and it should have already been taken care of, right? What time? We have 6:56. Okay, so I'll just read a little bit about this. A federal appeals court has upheld a Texas law requiring public schools across the state to display the Ten Commandments, a major victory for religious freedom advocates who have long argued the biblical text is intertwined with Americans' legal, moral, and historical heritage. In a 9-8 ruling, the 17th, this was heard by the full Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans. It upheld Senate Bill 10. The law passed by the Texas Republicans legislature does not violate either the Constitution's Establishment Clause or the Free Exercise Clause, because plaintiffs failed to show that SB 10 substantially burdened their right to religious exercise. Their free exercise claims must be dismissed, the court's majority opinion stated. Tuesday's ruling reverses the preliminary injunction issued by a federal judge in 2025 who had previously argued the law failed to demonstrate a historical tradition of public schools posting the Ten Commandments, a standard he claimed was necessary for the bill to withstand judicial precedent. So, that's pretty good. I mean, usually when you go to an appeals court, you get a 3-judge panel. And so you'll be 3-0, 2-1, or 1-2, or 0-3, right? This was heard by 17 judges. This is how important that ruling was to Texas. That was really good. My hat's off. And there was another Supreme Court ruling that came out yesterday. It ruled 2-1, not Supreme Court, I'm sorry, Appeals Court from the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 that Alligator Alcatraz could stay open in Florida because Alligator Alcatraz was built by the state of Florida, not the United States government. All right? So we are at 6:58 right now. Just remember, if you're in the area, there's a Pints and Politics at Gatesville at Ranchers tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And upcoming events with the Coryell County Republican Party is at on the 2nd of May at the Food Bin. I think the Food Bin or Food Mill. I can't remember. Oh, man. But it's in downtown Gatesville. I will get the exact. And then on the 12th of May at Giovanni's in Coppers Cove, there are going to be Republican Party meet and greets for the runoff election. All are invited. The one on the 2nd at the Feed Mill on the 2nd of May is at 11 a.m. on Saturday. All right. And then 6 p.m. on Tuesday on May 12th. If you live in all across the state of Texas, there's municipal elections going on right now. Early voting starts back up today because they were closed yesterday because of San Jacinto Day. Early vote goes through early next week. And then election day is on the 2nd of May. All right. So I'm out of time. I'm not going to do a raid today because I really, really, really got to get prepared to get out of here. So I will see everyone, including Richard, at 12 Central Time this afternoon with the JP8 report. We will go more thoroughly into detail with everything that's going on here. Thank y'all very much for tuning in this morning. If you're watching this, please click the like button and click the follow button. And I will see y'all at 12 Central Time. This is James Pierce with the Morning Brief. I will catch you on the flip side. I'm out.